Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk. I'm just going to confirm that you guys can hear me okay and that everything is set up good. I got the premium Wi-Fi set up, so I hope that the quality is up to par. Everything looks green on my side. Can you guys just confirm with me that everything, for those that are tuning in live, that everything looks good? Are we good? Yes. Here we go. Alrighty. There we go. What's going on, guys? So first of all, again, for those that aren't familiar with who it is that I am, my name is Ricky. I run the largest YouTube channel and the largest Facebook group for those who invest in the stock market. I really hope within the next 30 minutes that you guys enjoy our Sunday Stock Talk. This is when we come together as a group and we talk about the top stocks that everyone sees value in, right, for this upcoming week. So I know that there's probably going to be an echo. Dang. Can you guys not hear me okay at all? Is the echo that bad? If you guys can, I brought headphones from when I traveled. So I'm from Arizona. I went to Las Vegas. I was there for a day, and now I'm in Utah. Everything's good. Okay. So again, I do apologize if there is a slight echo. Okay. So I know it's not going to be a perfect live stream. I'm just going to keep it simple and straight to the point, and then we can kind of go from there. But this is pretty much all I've been watching as of right now during pre-market hours, or during extended hours. I apologize. So today's Sunday, market obviously not open today, right? But this is natural gas. Let's see those. What's going on, man? So, but a huge sell-off from look where natural gas closed at 4.64, 4.64 on Friday, and look at that drop that it had, all the way down. So just to put it into perspective, do you see how low it was on Friday? So this was around Friday around 10 a.m. natural gas, right? Let's look at you guys. So what that means is right around 10 a.m. around this time, that means that unfortunately for all those who held, if the market opens at where it's at right now, what is that? What kind of drop is that? It doesn't even let me calculate it because it's so much. It's about a 10 to 11% drop. Hey, what's going on, Jerry? Thank you again for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the live stream. So let's go ahead and get right to it. I want to break down stocks that you guys see value in. Again, none of the stocks that we cover are in any way any stock suggestions. They're simply, what our members see value in. I'm going to give you my opinion on them, and it's pretty much what we do every single Sunday in preparation for this upcoming week. So again, if you simply shout out the ticker symbol, I'm not gonna call it out. It has to be just like this. It has to be in that ticker call out format. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna change this to the Sunday Stock Talk one. Open this up, and then I'm just gonna erase everything here. Here we go. Here we go. All right, you guys all ready? We broke down a lot of stocks last week. We're going to do about 10 today. Sorry, 3, 2, 1, 0. Here we go. All right, let's do this. Hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. Let's have some fun. Here we go. So I'm going to put this in the 180-day, 4-hour time frame. Let me just make sure that the live stream quality, that everything looks up to par. Yeah, we have about 1,200 people tuning in live, so I do appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you guys again for everything that you guys do. Keep killing it. Let's do it. So here we go. Matt, what's going on? Ticker symbol AGEN. AGEN. Here we go. All right. Here we go. So let's talk about this. As of right now, on the technical standpoint, I'm going to draw a slight little resistance line right around 250. I'm going to draw a support line right around 150. Here we go. 150. So this is kind of like what I'm seeing right now. We can see first thing that comes to my attention is this descending SMA line, right? So its overall direction was showing signs of a downtrend. It was making lower lows. It was making lower highs. And all of a sudden, it kind of changed, right? It started building this like horizontal pattern. The low points, the high points, the low points, the high points. Now the question is to ask yourself, again, we're at this resistance where it's been rejected before multiple times. So what's going to make this time different? Now it is turning above the SMA line, and maybe it's given it enough time to consolidate, and maybe it can start making higher highs and start to recover. But what is it that we need? Confirmation. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to set my alert right here. There we go. Set the alert, and we can simply follow up with it. Also, because of this horizontal pattern, I want to be alerted when it gets closer to that 150 price point. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and set my alert for the break-in below 170. And again, it's a little bit more on the overbought side and not so much of a good deal. Again, just simply looking at previous patterns, being able to understand the low points, right around 150, 160, and being able to understand the high points around 230, 250. Easy, right? Easy technical analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Agen to the list. And then again, this entire list will be available for you at the end of the live stream. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Here we go. Javier, what's going on, man? So super happy to have you again joining us for the live chat. So here we go. Resistance right around $3. Again, it's asking yourself the question, is this the best deal that you can take advantage of? And if it's for a day trade opportunity, then asking yourself, is the opportunity cost worth it? Right away, something that I see with XXII is that it's been showing signs of a very consistent uptrend pattern. Another thing that we want to take into consideration is that it's approaching this area when it pushes above $3, that it's a little bit more on the overbought side. Yes, it has gone above $3, and yes, it can maybe complete another 6 to 10% depending on how high it goes. But it also makes sense on why it's a little bit more on the overbought side and why it can begin, just like it's done before, begin to pull back, right, to that general lower price point around the lower $2 price points. So I like that. I'm going to set my alert to see if this thing begins to make higher highs. If so, we can pay attention to it, and if we see day trade opportunity, then great. And if it starts to reverse and start make lower lows, then again, that's when it breaks below that EMA line, which is this little blue line that you see right here, and then we can kind of go from there. So XXII, that was the second ticker for today. SWN. So SWN, here we go. All right, what do you guys think about this one? Can you guys help me break this one down? What kind of pattern is this one? What kind of pattern is this one? Uptrend pattern, horizontal pattern, or descending pattern? Let's see it. So overall, big picture pattern, it's a horizontal pattern, right? Current pattern as of right now, it's getting rejected. Do you see this? This EMA line? It's acting as a resistance. So it sells off, and then it tries to push up, and then gets rejected. Sells off, pushes up, gets rejected. Sells off, pushes up, gets rejected. Now we're approaching, right, this territory where it's a little bit more of a better deal, right? So we could see that when it gets to around this general area of, do you see this? $4.75 to $5, $4.75 to $5, $4.75 to $5. This is where the consolidation phase usually begins, right? So, and the same thing happens when it pushes above 560 to 580. It becomes a little bit more on the overbought side. I think that this one is a perfect picture of a horizontal pattern of being able to understand the low points, the high points, waiting for the confirmation. So what do we wait for? Not just one break above the EMA line, but continuous uptrend patterns. And I think that this is for those that are struggling to stay green, or for those that are just struggling to understand patterns. I love the pattern that SWN is offering. It doesn't mean that it's a good trade. It just means that I think it's going to be very educational for you, or informative, to be able to actually learn from it. I don't know if that's something that you guys agree with, but again, just because it's done it before doesn't mean that it has to. So what I'm going to do is, just in case it makes or begins to make lower lows, I'm going to set my alert for the break below 475, which it hasn't broken below that price point before. Thank you for calling out. As I wanted to call out. Super. Well, it wasn't me that called it out, but super happy to hear that you benefited from it as well. Here we go. Caleb, how you doing? So we got JNPR. Let's check it out. JNPR. Here we go. Okay, so just to be able to see, the SMA line is making higher highs. Do you guys see that? So we're seeing higher highs and higher lows. So we could understand kind of its overall direction like this, right? So we could see that it has a continuous uptrend pattern. It tends to really aggressively sell off after it becomes a little bit more on the overextended side. What do you guys think about this, right? Is this the best deal that we can take advantage of as of right now? We could definitely bounce possibly on this EMA line and continue to uptrend, right? That's definitely a possibility. But what can we do? We can set our alerts for the confirmation to see if this thing begins to make higher highs. I don't like the MACD indicator, and the RSI is a little bit more on the overbought side. So just in case it does begin to pull back and approach this general area right around the support line, right, the support area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alert for the break below the EMA line and to see if it starts making lower lows. Yep, I like that. So not a good deal right now, but overall uptrend. I like that. Super great call out, Caleb. JNPR. Appreciate that. Here we go. Ticker symbol FATE. What's going on, Desi? Thank you for tuning in. Here we go. All right. So let's break this one down as a team. Why is this one maybe not the best deal that we can take advantage of right now? So why is the quality so bad? I'm in a hotel. I paid for the premium Wi-Fi. I thought the stream quality was going to be good. I guess it's not the best, and I do apologize for that. Here we go. All right, a little bit more on the overbought side. Not the best deal. Here we go. All right, so overall, a little bit on the overbought side. Yes, it can continue to uptrend, and just because there's always that possibility, I'm going to set my alert here for the break above like 1680, 1670. But what most likely I see to happen based off previous patterns, the resistance here and the resistance here, is that it becomes overbought, becomes overextended. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, very similar, and then it begins to pull back, right? Same thing as what we expect here. It normally bounces around this SMA line. So what does it do? Again, just looking at previous patterns, it sells off, consolidates, and then begins to make higher highs. Hits this resistance, then sells off, gets rejected by the EMA line, then breaks above it, makes higher highs, and then hits this general area again. Again, I want to make sure that when I get into a position, that I get it for a good deal and that the margin of profit is worth it. It's much more worth it down here due to the opportunity cost instead of trying to get in right now and due to FOMO, right, the fear of missing out. So I think that this is a great call out, just not the right timing for it. Here we go. So we got ticker symbol AES. What's going on, Katie? Here we go. So AES is making higher highs and higher lows. Very consistent uptrend pattern. My biggest question for this one would be like, is the opportunity cost worth it? It looks like normally only when it's around the SMA line, that's really when it begins to be worth the investment, right? So the MACD looks like it's starting to descend now. The RSI is a little bit more on the overbought side. We might be approaching this resistance right around 1550. So it might make sense on why to wait for the sell-off to get closer to the SMA line, again, for a better deal. So I really do appreciate the call out, and I hope that was something that was, of help. Can we please give some likes? What's going on, Les? Thank you again. Right, for those that are enjoying the stream, right? Maybe if you guys learned something, and maybe I can earn your like instead of just telling you to like. If you guys learned something or just find it informative, then great. If you don't learn anything or you didn't like it, then yeah, I guess I didn't earn your like, so it's all good. This is a strong downward pattern, so let me talk a little bit more about that. Yes, it is starting to, this is, I think, one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of new traders make is that its overall pattern right now is still trending down on the 180-day 4-hour chart, right? We can see that it continuously makes lower lows. Some people are so quick to jump the gun on entering a position right away that they think that, okay, now it's not below the SMA line, it's time to get in and it's going to go up. But what they don't see is if they would have just analyzed it before and seen that it's been above the SMA line, but then it still continues to make lower lows, is that we need confirmation of this pattern. So if all of a sudden it begins to make higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows, and then it begins to validate the SMA line as a support, then that would make sense. But altogether, it's just like, I don't think ELF is at its best state as of right now. And I think most importantly, it's better, especially if you're someone that's just getting started, to invest in something that is showing maybe a little bit more signs of an uptrend. I mean, and be honest with yourself. So I'm going to add this one because we broke it down in the live stream. I don't think that it offers the best pattern. And again, it's just my opinion. My opinion can be completely irrelevant to you. But what I want to really focus on is for new traders, sometimes they struggle to identify the best entry point. If I were a new trader, I would really focus on managing my risk and entry points and the correct time to buy. It's much easier said than done, right? But the thing about a downward pattern like this is if you struggle with entry points and you don't normally get in at the best price point and it's a downward pattern, its overall direction is not in your favor. But if you invest in something that, like we were talking about, like what was it? No, it was AES. Like, let's say this is an ongoing uptrend pattern. So if time is not of importance and your entry point isn't the best, but because its direction is in your favor, based off of previous patterns, it will most likely recover and continue to make higher highs based off previous patterns. Doesn't mean that it always has to. It just means like you have a higher opportunity of actually being able to make some money off of this because its direction is in your favor. Does that make sense? So if you're struggling on, staying green, if you're struggling because you're investing in something that's continuously making lower lows, I would really focus on direction and your entry points a little bit more, if that's okay for me to say. So again, thank you again for the call out. All right, here we go. Again, if you want me to break it down, you need to post it in the ticker call out format like this. Satoshi. Oh, Satoshi, I think you're the one who won our giveaway. Did you not? RWX. RWX, here we go. Strong downward pattern on this one. I would completely stay away. Looks like the volume is actually pretty low on this one as well. So again, I don't like low volume, high volatility, and also just its direction is just not in my favor. So keeping it like that, I would, yeah. Well, someone with the name Satoshi, I think, won. Or your name just stuck. I don't know why your name just sounds so familiar. Here we go. ACB. What's going on, Ryan? Here we go. So overall low points right around the $5 price point. SMA line is not in our favor. Showing signs of a downtrend pattern. Got rejected before. Do you guys see this general area where it got rejected before? It's making lower lows. It's making lower highs. I do see it consolidating a little bit more, so it's not as aggressively making lower lows, but its direction still is not in our favor. So I'm going to set our alerts, and we can simply follow up with it. So ACB. Eric Bodos. Does my name sound familiar? Yeah. Kind of, right? Yeah. SENS. Here we go. Okay. So again, it's the SMA line. Direction just isn't in our favor. I don't know if you know something about this company that would act as a positive catalyst for this thing to continue to uptrend. I mean, I like its recent direction. So as long as it stays true to this EMA line, so what I mean by that is as long as it continues to make higher highs and validates the SMA line as a support, that's the pattern that I see value in. If it breaks below the support, then the pattern would become irrelevant, no longer, it's not going to follow the same pattern. So then I would cut losses at that point. So SENS, here we go. So where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do 2 to 3 more. And I know that this Sunday stock talk was a little bit quicker, but I want to focus on open-ended questions. Let's see, LABD. 1. Let's see. So LABD, overall direction is in our favor. The SMA line is showing signs of an uptrend. Its current pattern is not in our favor. So yes, I do. We talked about this one last week where it could potentially bounce off the SMA line and then make higher highs, but there's no confirmation yet. So I set my alert and let's simply follow up with it. So thank you again for the great call out. And again, a friendly reminder: the inverse of LABD is LABU. So what laptop do you recommend? We give away laptops in our Learn Plan Profit laptop giveaway. I just bought a MacBook Pro, and I bought it during Black Friday. I got a $200 gift card, and they're pretty pricey though. I don't think you need something like the MacBook, but it syncs with all my other equipment, so it's of convenience. So it's just up to you. It's preference. I would really focus on something with like a really strong processor, so you could run TD Ameritrade. Do you ever make money off of dividends? I'm not a long-term investor, so I usually don't tend to hold something while it goes through a dividends payout. Here we go. What is going on, Danny? Hope you're having an amazing day. Ticker symbol MRK. Here we go. Okay, so the question that I would ask you, Danny, is first of all, I love the direction of ticker symbol MRK, right? So I'll add this here as this is something that we broke down. It's making higher highs, it's making higher lows. Great, it's staying true to this SMA line. I think its direction is very admirable. The thing that I don't like is how overbought it is. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. It's not the best deal, right? So it would make more sense to wait for a sell-off or something like that. And it looks like I've broken this one down before, so I have my alert here if it breaks below $74, so we could simply follow up with it. So yeah, what's going on, Ryan? Yeah, I was with Kevin in Las Vegas. Here we go. So ADAP. All right, overall direction, just strong downward pattern. Yes, it can begin to make higher highs. We could simply set our alerts and follow up with it. I don't like the direction. It's kind of like hoping for it to reverse. It's just not in my favor. So it's just not worth the time or the effort in my eyes. Here we go. Ticker symbol QQQ. All right, here we go. Strong downward pattern, right? So if I'm not mistaken, yeah, here we go. Strong downward pattern as of right now. It's approaching this SMA line, but I think QQQ, right, which is the actual, let's see. All right, had a really strong push during extended hours. Wow. Okay. So this is something that we'll have to follow up with. I don't know what acted as a huge catalyst to drive the price up to 175, but it's been getting rejected by this SMA line ever since. So I would like to follow up with it and kind of see where it goes. So thank you again for the call out, though. I'll definitely be following up with that one. Here we go, TVIX. Downward pattern as the market was pushing up. When the market changes, this thing begins to push up. Overall, usually validates the SMA line as a support. As of right now, it's still selling off. So we'll simply set our alerts and kind of go from there. Let's do one more. Here we go. Here we go. All right, ticker symbol, I don't like here. So I'll break that one down, but that's not. Yeah, strong downward pattern getting rejected by the SMA line. It's approaching this SMA line again as a resistance and showing signs of a downward pattern. Just wouldn't make much sense. So yeah, I would stay away. Here we go. What's going on, Stefan? Very low volume. Looks like pump and dumps when it gets pushed through volumes. I would not trade this one at all. Let's see. What's going on, Frank? Let's do this one. AMZN. Okay, so same thing with this one. Overall downward pattern, yes, it is beginning to show signs of a potential reversal. Again, confirmation. If you want to get some skin in the game, it's up to you, but just know that it can get rejected, and that means that you bought at the very top, and it could begin to sell off. Then you might want to manage your risk according to that, right? So the pattern that I see here is this like lower low and lower high overall pattern and direction. So with that understanding, it just would make sense to like maybe just give it a little bit more time for the SMA line to begin to curl back up, and then that it validates that as an overall support like it's done before. As right now, I see the SMA line, which is the green line, to be more of a resistance than a support. So that's just my 2 cents. All right, I'm going to dedicate the remaining amount of the time to open-ended questions. So if you guys have any open-ended questions about this week, about just trading in general, I want to dedicate the next 5 to 10 minutes to that, and then that's going to be pretty much the stream for today. Tomorrow are going to be all these stocks that we talked about today, were stocks that are called out by our group. So I'm just doing technical analysis for them. It's what we do every Sunday, so you guys can get my 2 cents. Feel free to share it if I didn't break it down in the watch list or group alerts, depending on if you're part of TechBudge or Learn Plan Profit. But I'm going to have my top call-out stocks tomorrow at around 5 to 8 p.m. So look out for that. I'm going to be talking about the top stocks I see valid and kind of go from there. So is a $500 giveaway. No, we gave away $500. What was it? $500 and a laptop, if I'm not mistaken, this Friday in our free live trading session. So we've had a lot of people ask me questions about taxes. I'm not a tax specialist. We're all in different tax brackets. I would encourage you to reach out to, I always say tax specialist, but to put into perspective, if you're someone that, is within the median class, it would be like H&R Block, just to get a secondhand suggestion, or call your brokerage and see what they would recommend. Again, I can't give you any advice on that. So I like this question. So, how should a college student get started in trading, and how much should the initial investment be? Um, to put it into perspective, and again, this is a very open-ended overall just like response. Is if you're a student, at least for a majority of people, right? There's like you need money to make money, right? And right now, yes, you have access to being able to like invest in the stock market, but it doesn't mean that you should. The market's so accessible, which means it's that much more dangerous. The first thing that you should prove to yourself is that you can grow your account. You could do that with simulation trading. I know that a lot of you guys just want to get started right away, so I would take it super easy, and the initial dollar value that you begin to invest in, for it to be something that, like, if you were to lose it all tomorrow, that it wouldn't devastate you. That's the approach that I would take. Other than that, I think it's this like process of you take in information, like you learn, right? You practice it, you implement it, see if it works for you, and if it does, great, and if it doesn't, then find another solution for it. That's the way. I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to, you're going to make mistakes, but the really cool thing about that is that the overall learning experience, like if you keep it like attractive and if you continue to crave it, so if you limit yourself on how much you learn every single day and limit it to about 30 minutes to like maybe an hour, you're always going to want to learn more, and you're constantly reminding yourself every single day to implement what it is that you learn. That's the best way, I think, for anybody, not just a college student, but for someone that has a busy schedule. I think everybody could relate to that. It's, yes, we have access to this market where we can make a lot of money, but just as much money that you can make, you could lose that money as well. I think that's something that you should definitely take into consideration before you're like, hey, I have $1,000. I think I'm just going to try to figure it out. No, like, be smart about it. How do 90% of people fail in the stock market? What is it that they're doing wrong? And do the opposite of that. Actually dedicate time to learn what it takes to be successful. That would be my approach. There's a bunch of free videos. There's a bunch of different groups that you can join. We have a free group, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Let's see. You guys have really good open-ended questions. Okay. Okay, so here, this is from Daryl. So, hey, I'm having a problem with entries and what time frames I should look at when buying ETFs based on futures. For example, /GC with JDST and JNPR. I think one of the most important things to focus on, I trade mainly ETFs as of right now due to the market volatility, right? So I like to focus on the overall direction and understand that first. So you're going to need to dedicate time. It's not just like one day that it's going to just click, but it's going to take time to get to that point where you're going to understand these futures. So like for /GC, for example, I would look at the 180-day analysis, the 4-hour chart, and see if you understand which one's trending up, which one still has more margin to go up. And with that understanding, then take into consideration on the 1-day, 1-minute chart before the market opens, if you can identify the direction for the day. So for example, I'm going to go back to my screen right here. The reason that I'm super excited for tomorrow is, guess what happened today, right? The market just opened again for the futures. So if we go right on over here and we go to /GC, wow, come on, Rick, /GC, I understand its overall direction. It's natural gas season, right? So that's the one that's trending up. But look what just happened. This is the resistance of where natural gas was at, and it's sold off all the way down to like 4.48 to 4.50, meaning that it does have margin for this to recover, but that means that DGAS, if the market stays with where it's at right now, that means that UGAS will be down about 10 to 15% and DGAS will be up. That's super exciting because there could be a huge change in direction by market open tomorrow. So I think it's understanding the correlation of where these futures stand, the low points, the high points, what is showing signs of an uptrend within the day, and to make sure that it's clear to you. So if at market open you struggle to identify which one's trending up, then guess what? You don't take a position until you understand its direction. And I think that's the more patient that you become and the more that you say no, I think the better trades that you will make. And again, your entry points will become that much better. Sometimes you're probably going in a little bit too early, and you end up having to like hold a position and then wait for it to fully recover, and you don't make as much as maybe you could have. So how often do you use market orders when buying and selling UGAS and DGAS? Pretty often. Sometimes if I don't care exactly the price point that I get filled at, maybe I'm not so specific in that, and if I just want to get some skin in the game, I'll go for that. But when it comes down to selling, I mean, on Friday, for those that tuned in, actually, I think it was Thursday, I really had to use my limit orders because there was such a huge spread between the bid and the ask, and I wasn't getting filled at the best price point. So definitely something to take into consideration. I wouldn't encourage it for newer traders to trade such volatile stocks because it's a little bit, it takes time to set up those limit orders and stuff like that. And every second counts when it comes down to what, with high volatility. What's the best day to look for stocks? That's a very open-ended question. There's no best day. It's, when the good deal, like, when is it the best time to take advantage, like in the real time? Like, when's the best time to take advantage of a real estate opportunity? When it's a great deal. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. You focus on getting a good deal. And you need to understand how to identify one to be able to find them. Because if you have no eye for value, then you're just not going to be able to get to that point. I agree, Michael. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the volatility will probably be a lot less aggressive during the spring season. So when signing into your course, will I be able to watch you trade live later on that day? So I trade live at market open every single day, Monday through Friday. So the Learn Plan Profit group within our Learn Plan Profit group chat. So pretty much like this. So let me pop up the Discord. So how it happens is at market open, market opens wherever it is that you are. It opens at 7:30 a.m. in Arizona, right? Mountain Standard Time. What I do is I go to Learn Plan Profit, our group chat, and in the morning live chat section, this is where I post the private links. I tag everyone, and people just click on the link and tune in. You could always re-watch them, but you get to watch me trade live for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long I'm going live for. You can't. I don't go live all day, and I go live for about 45 minutes to an hour just to talk about like what's trending, what I'm trading, the direction that I see value in. I break down a couple stocks, and then we kind of just do our own thing. Again, if you're going to join our group, if you're going to join any of our groups to be told what to do or just to try to mimic people's trades, please don't join. This is not where you're going to like benefit just trying to mimic my trades. Like, that's not why we created these groups. It's if you're someone that's really willing to invest time to like understand what it is that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. My goal for each and every single one of you is for me to work with you every day to build your eye for value where, a couple months or a couple years down the road, you don't need to be part of the group, that you just want to because of the environment, but that you can be so self-sufficient that you could do it on your, by yourself. So how do you get into that Discord? You have to be part of Learn Plan Profits. That's our private group. That's the first link in the description if you want to learn a little bit more about it. Any advice? Okay, this is a good question. So any advice for military personnel that could only trade during the morning? Anything to pay more attention to? So Justin, I would focus on like opportunity costs. Like you're really limited to the amount of time that you can trade, right? And I don't know if you're under the PDT rule, but if you are, that's another limitation. You should really focus. I would dedicate a lot more time to really refine myself to understand like what a great opportunity looks like. So when you're scanning or when you're like analyzing a series of stocks during the times that you can trade, that you're very self-sufficient, where if you see right away within 5 to 10 minutes that nothing's like in your favor, to not even waste 30 minutes or an hour analyzing stocks. But then again, it could be like 2 days that the market just isn't in your favor, but on the third day, it's just perfect, right? But because your eye for value, you're able to identify that and you take advantage of an opportunity and hit like your weekly goal in one day. But it's because you were so patient and not digging yourself in a hole by taking positions and over trading when nothing's in your favor, and mainly focusing on being very like self-sufficient and understanding when it makes sense to take advantage and when to have a reason on why you take the positions that you do. And thank you for your service. Let's see. Let me answer one more question, then we're going to call it a day. Okay, so I'm gonna end it with this. So what's some advice for someone that is in high school and wants to trade? Again, it's going to be almost like my same exact answer that I have for those that are in college or in like that are busy, right? If you're a full-time worker, if you have a family, my biggest thing is understanding like what are you doing that's going to set you apart from everybody else that's not doing well within the market. It's not a question that people make money in the stock market, right? Like there's no question. With that understanding, what is it that you're going to implement every single day that's going to set you apart? It's not just getting lucky, and yes, you might get lucky from time to time, but it's not just about getting lucky. So you're going to really need to get to a point to understand exactly what it is that you are doing every single day, to have a reason for what you do. And how do you know, like, if I were to tell you, like, you're a student in high school, right? You have your periods that you go to throughout, your classes that you go to throughout the day. If I were to tell you, hey, your class is not in that direction, it's that direction, but you go, like, you're aware of what it is that you're doing every single day, right? So you've gone through those classes and you know where you need to go. You're knowledgeable enough to make the decision that, no, this is the way to get to my class. And you'll tell someone no. When it comes down to trading, if I were to tell you, hey, invest in this and this is why, you're maybe not at the point where you can like decide if that is a good or bad decision, which means that you're not at a point where you should actually start investing money because you're not at a point where you're up to par to make these decisions, right? So if you're a little kid and this little kid he's walking around your high school and he's trying to find something and you point him in the right direction, that's because you're knowledgeable in where to navigate in your high school campus. Same thing with the stock market. You need to get to a point where you're knowledgeable and to be so self-sufficient that you are 100% certain that when someone tells you, hey, this is a good investment, that you could respond saying, no, and this is why. When you're so opinionated and you have a certain eye for value that you are empowered to say no. You guys get what I'm saying? And I think that's the great thing about it. It's don't try to expedite the process. This is not a market where you're going to get rich quick. This is not something that like happened overnight for me. It took years. We have people that are doing it at a much quicker rate than I did. And again, people are much smarter than I am, right? Or it just clicks better for them. But that's fine. Understand that certain things happen quicker for others. And sometimes it happens and it takes much longer for other people. Or it doesn't ever happen altogether. What you should be empowered by is that you're doing something that you think is going to benefit your future. You're surrounding yourself with those that empower you and that uplift you. And most importantly, that you see value in it, that maybe you have a passion for this market. That's what's important. Because, again, maybe I'm not making the most money right now, right? Let's say that you're making $100 a day. That's still great. But let's say, that's not where I want to be at. Then the great thing about this is as your account continues to grow consistently, right? And you continue to refine yourself as a trader, when your account's at $50,000 or $100,000, and you could be making, instead of the $100 a day because your account value is that much more, you could be making $1,000 a day when you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years old. That's the beautiful thing about this market is focus on refining yourself for the future, not trying to benefit yourself for today. I would focus on just learning and actually understanding what it is that I'm doing and to have a reason for everything that you do. And surround yourself with people that will continue to, empower you to be the best person that you could be. That would be my goal. So, yeah, that's really just it. So, all right, guys, I really do appreciate your guys' time. I hope that I answered and you guys saw value within the past 38 minutes of this live stream. If there's anything that I can do to better assist you, feel free to direct message me within the Learn Plan Profit or TechBud Solutions Discord chat. I hope I earned your thumbs up. I hope if you guys aren't subscribed already, we could have you as a part of our team. But most importantly, I hope you guys absolutely kill it this week. Have fun with what it is that you do. Say more no than you do yes. We're not offering any discounts as of right now on the Learn Plan Profit course, but I can reassure you that if you want to work with me on a closer basis, if you want to watch me trade live, if you want access for a lifetime to the Learn Plan Profit lesson library, click that first link down in the description and see how we can work a little bit more on a closer basis. I wish you guys an amazing rest of your Sunday night. Have fun, stay safe, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.